are regional tribes like the Nez Perce. Salmon are a huge part of their story and their livelihood. Tribe members believe that lower return rates on salmon are in part due to the lower Snake River dams, and more should be done. They say it affects not just their culture, but our entire ecosystem.
For the Nez Perces, we're salmon people. It is a very integral piece to our culture. I'm a seventh generation descendant of Old Chief Looking Glass.
One of the original signers of the Treaty of 1855, representatives from Oregon and Washington tribes meeting with U.S. leaders in Walla Walla. By signing the treaty, the Nez Perce gave up millions of acres of land to establish the new size of their reservation, but retained fishing rights on 13+ million acres.
Secured a way of life that the Nez Perce people were accustomed to.
Shannon Wheeler, chairman of the tribe, says salmon are an integral part of their story. That's salmon in the Nez Perce language, and it goes back to the beginning.
The creation story, and it talks about salmon giving itself to the people, but in order for him to agree to do that, we would have to be the spokesperson for the salmon and to, from there on, protect him and speak for him because he wouldn't have that voice.
And they continue to be that voice. The tribe's fisheries department employs around 200 people actively working to improve salmon survival.
But they're trying to supplement the loss of the species and to increase those numbers. They live for that.
Hearing the different stories of my parents and their parents, from the 17 million salmon that used to enter the mouth of the Columbia, now they're looking at maybe 1 million in a good year.
For years, salmon have been used for food and trade for the tribe, but tribe members also see the bigger picture.
As you take something out of the ecosystem, other things are going to suffer.
The nitrogen, the phosphorus, and carbon that's released in the decaying body of a salmon is distributed out into the forest. Those things are benefiting bushes and grasses and vegetation that's out there that elk eat, that moose eat, that deer eat, and the berries that bears eat.
For the Nez Perce, it's about working to protect the environment we all live in.
Salmon, the lamprey eel, have taken the beating for the longest time, and it affects all the resources that are out there.
While they acknowledge that there may be multiple factors affecting salmon numbers, they do believe the lower Snake River dams are a big contributor to the problem.
Science says this, when are we going to listen to that? And I think there's room for compromise. I think everybody has to give a little bit for the betterment of the future generations.
For more resources or to see the other stories we've done in this series, go to yaktrinews.com and click on Dam Dilemma.